All right, we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Uno.
Welcome to the show. The post-game show, the reaction show. The Super Bowl is set after a thrilling championship Sunday. AFC and AFC championships, our games are over. The Chiefs are the AFC champions over the Baltimore Ravens, and the San Francisco 49ers with a thrilling comeback against the poor Detroit Lions. They're going to have to wait a little while longer to break the Super Bowl dry spell. And the Super Bowl is set. 49ers, Chiefs, rematch of, what was that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4? I forget how many years ago it was.
Wow.
Rematch, and early line seems to have settled, at least for now, on 1.5. 49ers being the favorites, minus 1.5, and the Chiefs, once again, the dogs. And how are we feeling, fellas? Word life. Feeling a little bit sick, but powering through.
Yes, sir. Yeah, feeling good, though. It's, you know what I mean? As far as everything else, physically not doing well, but we're here, baby.
Thank you, NFL. Yesterday was a great day. Yesterday was a great day. I mean, obviously, depending on if you put money on some people or depending on you were rooting for some, obviously, but not having
not a good day for the professional bettors, because the professional bettors foolishly were committed to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Did anybody, while it was happening, I'm like, duh.
Yeah, I can't
After that
lie,
first drive,
man.
I'm like, duh.
I'm just surprised because after the previous week, that Bills-Chiefs game, similarly, there were a lot of professionals that were with the Bills, and, everybody was talking about how all of these stats and this and that, led them to feel like the Bills were going to win and the Bills were going to cover. Mahomes never played an away playoff game, etc. And I kind of was into it. I kind of believed in it a little bit, because I was like, the Bills are a team that has been knocking on the door consistently. They're familiar with the Chiefs. They've played them a bunch of times, and a bunch of times in big games. So I was down with it, but after that, I don't know why people were ready to jump back on that train the following week. Like, I was classic fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I was like, I went against the Chiefs, I went against Mahomes in that one game, but after that, I was like, listen, even more so, it was even more weighted. They were even bigger dogs against the Ravens. And, like, while, yes, I could see if you want to go into the numbers and all of the matchups and all of that stuff, I could see why people would feel the Ravens, on paper. But the games aren't played on paper. And I was just like, I'm not going to be fooled by this again. Like, I seen enough to know. And I was just like, you could also go into the numbers when it comes to, I hate to say it, but when it comes to Lamar in the playoffs, he's had his struggles, and I was just like, I'm not rolling with that, man. So, good weekend for the books, because they did well. But I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the Super Bowl, because I guess for the same reasons they've been underdogs the last 2 weeks in a row, I guess I'm not shocked that the Chiefs are underdogs again, but no, you're not going to get me with that one. I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. What's Kyle Shanahan's record in the Super Bowl? Yeah.
What's Kyle? All right, so before we go to Kyle Shanahan, let's start with the Ravens. I got there's a lot. I feel like there's probably more conversation to be had with the nightcap game, the Lions and the Niners, than there is with the Chiefs Ravens. But starting with the Chiefs and Ravens, as soon as if you had the Ravens, you knew your bet was dead, like, in the first 5 minutes of the game. Yeah. Not even because, obviously the game wasn't over right off the bat, But for me, you could just tell the way that the Chiefs chose to kick off to get the ball in the second half. Ravens go 3 and out. Chiefs march down the field and score a touchdown. Right away, I was just like, you knew if you took the Ravens and you were given 4.5, you needed to be up, and you needed to be up big. So to go down 7-0 right off the bat, like, you could have thought, yeah, maybe, the Ravens are gonna be able to move the ball and score on the Chiefs. But to me, right away I knew that was a dead bet right off the bat.
Yeah, I was similar. When Kelsey caught that fucking beautiful catch on the third and what was it, 3rd and 7 or 3rd and something? It was 3rd and something, and Mahomes did he came out the pocket and he threw that fucking dime a little high, but it was perfect right away away from the defender perfectly, and
Yep.
Kelsey made the beautiful catch. I said, this is over. And then I said, and then the touchdown, I was like, nah, this is definitely over. But you know that the devil in your ear is like, that was a scripted play. Let's see what happens. Somewhere in between that second drive, Mahomes threw a 15-yard pass right down the middle. Dot. I said, yeah, that's it. It's over. And sure enough, it was over. But the Ravens defense kept it close, man. They did what they had in the second half. It's just the Ravens. John Harbaugh got his job got to be on the line after that. You got to question yourself at that point. No, am I overreacting? Somebody told me in my job I was overreacting. As an owner, you got to question it though. What transpired in that game?
I know we get into this. We get into this, man. But it's because only one team can win. And I know that it's like, I know everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, like, only one team wins. So if you want to take the side of criticizing everybody that loses, you're always gonna be undefeated in terms of like having, because you're gonna always have something to criticize somebody about. You can never get pinned down. But it's like, obviously that's why talk shows and shows that talk about sports, they always win because they have somebody always to criticize. But we got to look at it, man. Like, they were a couple plays away from being in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I can't criticize because
were they really?
Because this is the thing. When you say that the defense did everything they could to keep them in the game, I think it's the reverse. I think they did everything to lose the game.
The Ravens
because not only the defense, just the team as a whole. I think what they wanted to do, they came into the game wanting to punk the Chiefs, and I think that seeped into like everything.
Punk as in, hey, you think we're a running, like, trick them? Maybe more like, hey, you think we're a running team? Watch this. We have a Mahomes too.
No. Punk, like, it was with all the extra shit that they were trying to do. They were trying to drop, do extra, land on Mahomes, do like a little bit of cheap shot thing, and I just think they went too far.
Yeah, I do think that. I feel like, and that's another reason why I couldn't take them, because I feel like they while they're not brand new to the playoffs, obviously they've been there, but I just felt like the run that the Chiefs have been on, they're so comfortable no matter what the spot is. You could have went into this offseason of this postseason thinking we got to see what the Chiefs can do in the on the road, but once we saw them go into Buffalo very comfortably and win that game, never really, to tell you the truth, that game never really felt in doubt. Neither did the Ravens game, even though they weren't blowouts. I never really felt like the Chiefs were going to lose either of those two games. And I feel like the Ravens, they came in a little too fired up, a little overly hype, almost like nervously hyped up. I feel like they got it in their head that they wanted to shut down the whole Taylor Swift thing. I feel like they were thinking about all extra shit, trying to be bullies, trying to overly bully the Chiefs, trying to make a statement. But not in the type of way that you want a team to make a statement, controlled and focused. I feel like they got a little too much in their heads, and they were trying to do a little bit too much rather than focusing on everything that got them there.
Yeah, and they played undisciplined, man. And I'm not gonna be like, acting like, oh, undisciplined, like, because the coaching. No, it was. I don't even think it was. I don't think it was necessarily something that, that like, it was coached into them for like this week. It's just like the mentality that, like, they're an AFC North team. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of they tried to play a Steelers Ravens October division game at 1:00 p.m. Primetime AFC championship against the Chiefs. And you gotta know that, like, especially against a team like the Chiefs, especially against Patrick Mahomes, you can't do all that extra shit. Yeah. You can't do the elbow shit. Like at one point, no, it wasn't Michael Pierce. It might have been Matabuke. He punched Pat Mahomes in the face.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't even like slick. It just looked like he dead ass just punched him. He didn't even fake it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like they try to be like, oh, you're gonna come into our house. We're gonna show you what Ravens football is all about.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. Oh, this is Ravens football, when, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the biggest stakes. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a game in October, yeah, you can do that against the Steelers. You can do that against the Browns, because they're going to do it right back to you. And it's kind of like, whatever, referees they know what's going on. So when you do that, like, because it wasn't like one or two plays, it was almost every play. And honestly, they're lucky that they didn't get called for more of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got wound up too quick. So anytime somebody would talk shit, like, they try to go overboard. Like, even with the Kelsey, like when Kyle Van Noy got the penalty on Kelsey, there could have been a penalty before that. And there could have been a penalty before that on the Ravens. Then Kelsey went back at, I forget who it was who did it. And then Kyle Van Noy did the extra shit that it wasn't like the back and forth. It was a back, forth, and then back. And at that point, like, yo, you got to throw the flag, because it's like, yo, this is not how we're going to play this game. Like, this is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the time for that shit. And I think that just seeped into, like, their mentality. And you saw, it crept into the offense as well. Like, you saw with the penalty with Zay Flowers, and that, that's what happened. Everything that they did on both sides, they got wound up too tight, and they thought that they were just gonna out physical the Chiefs, because the Chiefs is not a physical team. Supposedly, they were gonna show them what physical Ravens football was about, and what they did was they played them because the Ravens overplayed. They got too antsy. They got too tight when everything wasn't going their way. So they were frustrated. So then they kept going even more, because I mean, like, for example, like, I get why Zay Flowers pushed down was it Snead, right? Because he was holding onto his leg. And I know why he pushed him, but he didn't get the flag for pushing him. He got the flag for spinning the ball and throwing it at his back and at his helmet.
Over him.
You know, and then standing over on top, because you can get away with one or two of those things, but you can't get away with the third one. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like they like, this is one of the kids. Like, I think maybe the playing at home actually was a detriment to them, as opposed to being a home field advantage.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It could have been. I also felt like it was almost like they expected to almost game manage. Like the Ravens thought they were gonna manage the game. Like, let the defense shut them down, and they can't throw on this defense. They're not gonna be able to move the ball on this defense. We're the toughest defense out here. All this shit, and the moment that went out the window, it's like the whole sidelines panicked. It's like, oh shit, they're moving the ball. Oh shit, What do we do now? Don't run the ball. Don't run the ball. Throw the ball. Hey, Lamar,
Play
make something
harder.
happen.
Yeah.
Throw yourself on them. Everybody was just like panic mode, and it was like so clear. It was like so obvious that they were panicking.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately that was the game plan. Was we're gonna keep Pat Mahomes on the sideline. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna do all this shit. They're not gonna be able to move the ball, and we're gonna own the time of possession. And the game.
But they did the reverse.
But it's almost like that boxing match. You ever like Floyd, right? Floyd was the greatest at watching you for the first 4 rounds and then switching on you, and then the other guy still stayed with what was working in the first four rounds, right? It's like the Ravens didn't know how to accommodate or how to counter what was happening. They were just like, oh shit, panic, and it showed. And like I said, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but it's like you have to have that discussion as an organization. What transpired yesterday was pathetic for the sidelines. It was pathetic, bro. It was. It's one thing to get beat on the defense. It's one thing to get beat by the one of the greatest coaches and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's another to not have any answer and just straight complete panic. Don't run the ball, which is what got you there. Put it all on the quarterback's shoulders, almost like what I expected the Jets was gonna do with Aaron Rodgers. Like, yo, here's your offense, go. It's what they did with Lamar. It's like, yo, here, run, do something, make it happen, because I don't know what to do, and that's why I say you got to have that discussion today as an organization.
Well, I think it's more. I think it's more of the play calling, because I think the play calling for the offense, they got to this point with Lamar playing the way he has played all season. I think they just overthought it and went in with the game plan that, listen, we're not going to run, we're going to throw on this team, which I don't really get anyway to begin with. But I get it that the Chiefs run defense is a good run defense, which is fine. But the way that they did it was almost like they programmed into Lamar's head all week that, listen, stuff is going to open up for you to throw downfield or throw at some point, especially with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. And it just didn't happen. And on top of that, Lamar was just back. He had time back there, and he didn't take off. And that's like at one point, it's like if you're sitting in the pocket long enough, 5 seconds, 6 seconds to throw downfield, that means there's a lot of open shit in the middle of the field that you could have got. There was multiple times where he could have taken off, and instead of taking off, it's almost like, yo, no, I can't take off. Like they kind of programmed that in his head not to do that, not to play that way this season. And I think at that point, like they took the football player out of him and they tried to put too much quarterback in him, and it came back to bite him. But I mean, I'm not gonna say
he melted.
I'm not gonna say that like you gotta fire Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right, but I'm not saying fire him, but I'm saying have the discussion.
So how does that discussion sound?
Should we fire him?
Nah. So the game ends. Harbaugh gives his talks to the players.
You want me to be the Ravens?
No, hold on. Let's play this out. So everybody leaves. They go home. I'm assuming they come. Let's say Harbaugh. I don't think the players come back today, but let's say Harbaugh has a meeting today with the higher ups. He walks into the office. How does that conversation go? If you're management,
if I'm the organization, yeah.
Who's Harbaugh?
Me. Oh no, Harbaugh.
No. Who's Harbaugh though? Like in this,
John.
You could be Harbaugh. I don't care. He's gonna be because he's the one making the decision, right?
Yeah. So ask me no.
Okay.
That's gonna be Eric DaCosta, the
owner. I almost if it was me, I probably wouldn't have John there. I'll probably have John's like whoever is almost like
no, because you need the answers.
Remember Casino though? Casino.
If you're the owner, if you're Bishotti.
Remember Casino though when Pesci stayed in Vegas and what's the name Bats, I forget his name. He came and he was like, "What is he doing? He can't. He's not fucking the bitch's wife, right?" And the guy's like, "No, it's like that." It's like I almost want to have that. I want to talk with everybody and John like wait in the waiting room. Like, yo, you wait here. Everybody else come inside, and that motherfucker.
Like he doesn't know if they're gonna come out with like
you don't know he's gonna be in the hole. Yeah, exactly. Like that. And I just want to know what the fuck happened. Everybody tell me their side of the story. I want to know what the fuck happened. Why was this acceptable? Why was this part of the plan? Why did we get away from the run game? Well, I just want to know what was okay. And then once that went out the window, why didn't we switch it up? What were you thinking? I really actually want answers. I want to know what the fuck.
I think answers.
I do. Am I wrong for that? As a fan, I want answers. As a fan of this game, and a fucking idiot that was against the Ravens the whole fucking time, and then I'm like, this might be it. This is when they prove it. This is when they go to the Super Bowl. This is it. And then I feel stupid. I feel like I got robbed. I just want answers. And I think
the Ravens.
No, I backed out. I picked the Chiefs to cover, but I backed out of picking who would win because something was forcing me to say the Ravens, but I just couldn't bring my lips to say it.
I think the answer is easy.
I backed out like a coward. Go ahead.
I think the answer is easy. It's like you asked me. Okay, the game was close. There was a situation where like we got downfield, and the player, Zay Flowers had he had an instance of like, like he didn't perform in that instant.
Who?
And no, Zay Flowers, let's say. And
he's a rookie. He made
a mistake. He's a rookie. He's a young player. He's gonna be a good player for us for a very long time, but this is in his, like in a big playoff game.
Yeah.
He's played from Boston College. He's not used to this.
Shouldn't you have taken that to account before the game?
Yeah, but that's not a situation. That's not a situation where you could plan for. You know what I'm saying? He extended the ball. We teach our players.
Oh God.
We gotta, like it was. We thought that it was a good play in any other circumstance. If he doesn't extend the ball, he probably scores a touchdown, but he's trying to make a play. And unfortunately, it got knocked out. And if you take that into account, you're talking about a 3-point game, and maybe everything changes. But the way that their offense was playing, maybe if they run the ball, considering how good of a run defense they have, we don't want to give them more possessions by, having a 3-and-out. Having short, considering their run defense, we don't want to give them like a 3-and-out or a short drive, and then giving them the ball back and have them slowly carve us down the field again. So, we kept it close. A couple of things didn't go our way, and if they did go their way, we would, we win this game. We're in a position to win the game, but. Like when you have Lamar pressing at the end of the game because they are down 10 at a point where maybe they shouldn't have been down. It should have been a closer game. He tries to do a little bit too much at that interception in the end zone. And, that's just how it rolls. But, everything went the Chiefs' way. If everything goes the Ravens' way, maybe they win 21-17.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but that's to me that's just unacceptable. That you're not sticking to what got you here, and at the end of the day, it's okay. It's not working. What your game plan, the original game plan was it wasn't working. Let's go. You don't switch at all. You just let the cards land where they may, as they say.
But the thing is with that, it's because it's like you could stick to what got you there, but then on the other hand, then you can't criticize Dan Campbell because he stick to what got them there, and now he's getting criticized for sticking what got them there. So it's like my main point is it doesn't matter. You're always gonna get criticized, no matter what you do. If you don't win, you're gonna get criticized.
See, I don't even want to go into Dan Campbell shit, but that right there, that's that like justifying your your ego, or justifying your idiocracy. Like, oh yeah, let's go for it on fourth. Well, we don't want to go into that, but that's a whole nother.
But he
That's
stuck
a
to
whole
what got
nother.
them there.
Yeah, but that's totally different.
Well, before we get to Campbell,
Yeah.
I know this is going to be unpopular, but the the coaching decision that got me the most frustrated in the Ravens Chiefs game
Yeah.
was a decision that was made by Andy Reid.
Ooh.
And it, like, nobody cares when you win, right? And if it works out, the decision doesn't matter. But for me, when I'm sitting there watching the game and the Chiefs have the ball, pretty sure it was in the red zone. If it wasn't in the red zone, it was like on the 30 something. And towards the end of the second quarter, they throw to Kelsey on third down, and he's just short of the third down. And they decide to go for it on fourth down. Do you remember the play I'm talking about? It was like I think it was like 5-6 minutes left in the second quarter before halftime. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the score at the time, the score was 14-7. And I'm thinking to myself,
that was at like the 30-yard line or something like that.
Something like that. It was like somewhere. It would have been a short field goal. I think it was inside the 30. And I was thinking to myself, like I've been thinking to myself all season long. We've talked about this all season, and I feel like there have been several instances where I'm watching these games and I'm like, yo, what is wrong with taking these points, man? Why don't these, like, listen, I understand I understand certain instances where it is perhaps more beneficial to put pressure on the opposite team, put pressure on the opposing team. But to me, and I don't know, the thing is, I don't know if it's coaching philosophy or if it's just not understanding the moment. Because to me, I'm thinking to myself, all right, you up a touchdown, you on the road, there's a little over, I think somewhere between 5 and 6 minutes left in the second quarter. You're getting the ball to start the third quarter. You're getting the ball after halftime. You kick a field goal right now, you make it a 2-score game, and you can hold the Ravens to one possession because of where the clock is now at the end of the second quarter. So if you kick this field goal, you can essentially guarantee yourself at minimum going into the half with a lead. Whether it's a 10-point lead or a 3-point lead, even if you give up the touchdown on the following drive, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself going into the half on the road with the lead, getting the ball at halftime. You go for it there on fourth down, I don't see what the benefit is of that, because even if you get it, you still, it's not like you're on the goal line, it's a touchdown or a field goal. You still have to convert a touchdown with however many downs, even if you get it. But if you don't get it, you're giving them an opportunity to tie the game. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, there's only a little over 5 minutes left. Why don't you take these points? Take this 2-score lead on the road. Take this lead into halftime pretty much guaranteed based on where the clock is. I mean, it ended up not mattering anyway because they didn't get the first. They didn't get the first down. The Ravens got the ball back, weren't able to score, and weren't able to kill enough time. The Chiefs ended up kicking the field goal the next time they got the ball anyway. But if you think about it, they could have kicked the field goal there. If they stopped the Ravens on the next drive, then you could kick another field goal and go up 13. Like, I just didn't understand what the benefit was to go for it there on fourth down with only a 7-point lead. You are moving the ball. The Ravens are struggling on offense. You can go up 2 scores, or you can pretty much guarantee yourself going up 2 scores, or you can give them a chance to tie the game. Like, I didn't understand that. Like, to me, that was foolish on the road.
That one I'll give a little bit more leeway, just because if the way that the defense was playing, right? Think about it. The Chiefs defense was playing. Let's say, I'm just taking the devil's advocate, and almost to the point that it ended up doing. But let's say that they ended up getting the first down and scoring the touchdown. There's probably still enough time to where that same scenario that played out kind of plays out again anyway. So I mean, if
I
the if
understand that,
they
but what difference does it make? You can either guarantee, because it's 2 scores anyway. Like let's hypothetically say, okay, you convert the 4th down and you end up scoring and you go up 2 touchdowns, right? You're still giving the Ravens the ball back with a chance to answer, and if they don't answer, it's the difference
get the ball
between
back.
going up. If you're hypothetically thinking they're not going to answer, is the difference between going up 14 at half or going up 10 at half. But you ended up not going up 10. You ended up not going 14 because you didn't convert the 4th down.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they get the ball back, if they score the touchdown, let's say there's 4 minutes left on the clock or 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they stop the Ravens again. Maybe they have a chance to score again, going into the half, and then they go and then they get
that chance. That's my point. Is that you're still? It's all gonna play out the same way, and the only thing you're doing is you're trading a chance at 4 more points when you have a higher chance to just have 3 points, and it's still only the first half, and you're still getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Like, to me, I'd rather take the higher percentage, pretty much guarantee myself a lead at half. Because if you don't convert there and the Ravens go down and score, you've lost all the momentum. You've got the crowd back into the game, and now you're getting the ball. You've squandered this great first half that you had. And if the Ravens go down and score on you, now you're getting the ball in the tie game to start the second half for no reason. When you had a chip shot 3 points right there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta see obviously what the yardage was. Just to be sure, but
and that was the other thing. It was 1
maybe
yard,
they
and
didn't
that was the
consider
other
the
thing that bothered me about it was that if you're gonna go for it there, why are you gonna run it with Pacheco up the middle into the Ravens front line? Like, if I'm gonna go for it there, I'm at least gonna have the ball in Mahomes' hands. Like, I don't understand why you're gonna. As soon as I saw they were running the ball with Pacheco, I figured that the Ravens were going to stuff it. They were desperate. Yeah. Like, they were going to give you their
and
best
where they ran it to.
Huh?
Where they ran it to, because they ran it into the heart of the defense. It's not like they did one of those, like they have Rashid Rice running the jet sweep or something like that, where it's like you kind of you have them selling you got them selling out down the middle.
For it, I would have taken the 3 points there. Guarantee because I felt like that was a little bit cocky in the first half, going up like, yo, you're on the road. To me, like, people see these things different ways. To me, I will coach a different way for a different game. Like, for me, everything is situational. Like, so I'll go for it in certain situations. I'm not gonna go with this just, oh, well, the percentages say this and this and that. Like, I don't believe in that. It's like, to me, every game is separate. Every game is a living thing. And to me, at that moment, you had the ball. The benefit of converting that 4th down, to me, was not enough. Like, again, if you're talking about his goal line and we're talking about the difference between it's a tutty on this one play or I'm kicking the field goal, that's a different story. But even if you convert that 4th down, you still got to put the ball in the end zone, and you're still giving the ball back to the Ravens with time to score. And you ended up not getting it. I mean, it ended up working out, like I said, but you ended up not getting it. And had the Ravens taken that momentum and gone back down and scored, it's a whole different ball game if you're starting the second half tied up rather than with a 10 or 3 point lead. And then they ended up not even scoring the second and a half. So I just thought that in a close game like that, I just don't understand why these coaches refuse to take points that's sitting right there. Like, you on the road, you drove the field. You did what you had to do. To me, that's what you had to do. You're already up a tutty. You drove the length of the field and gave your field goal kicker a chip shot field goal with a chance to go up 2 scores and pretty much guarantee yourself a lead at halftime. You did the job. You did what you had to do. You didn't need to convert a 4th down and force the touchdown there and risk going into the halftime with a tie game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think some coaches look at settling for a field goal as a loss and can possibly be a momentum boost also.
It can be, depending on the situation. Like pure example, like going on to Dan Campbell, I felt the exact opposite when he chose to kick the field goal at the end of the first half up 3 touchdowns. To me, that's a totally different situation because you're up 3 touchdowns. You got way more wiggle room to play with. Like, to me, if I can aggressively go for it there, and especially with the way that with the momentum that they had, with the way they were moving the ball, the Chiefs were moving the ball well, but they weren't moving the ball the way the Lions were on the Niners in the first half. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that they had a to me, a better chance, better percentage chance, better opportunity to convert the 4th down rather than taking those 3 points when they had already put 21 on the board on them. Like that 3 points in that big of a game at that moment, that 3 points didn't make as much of a difference. Whereas to me, in the Ravens Chiefs game that ended up being such a low scoring game, those 3 points made a difference. Like take the 3 points on the road.
Those aren't the same 3
game.
points. Those are inflation 3 points.
Yeah, man, I just don't understand. Like Campbell, I can understand his way because his team is not built to get into a low-scoring defensive struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, his aggressiveness, his always going for it. His strength is on offense. The strength of his team is offense. Like, anytime, pretty much, I hate to say this, but pretty much anytime the Lions were on the field, no matter who the opponent is, when their defense is on the field, they're overmatched. Like, if their defense gets stops, then they have outperformed what they're supposed to do because the Lions defense is not good. Stops. Their strength is on offense.
Yeah, they made some stops. Then.
No, yeah, they did a great job in the first half. And even in the second half, the defense did a couple of nice things. But I'm just saying, like, I get that Dan Campbell understands. My team is built to be aggressive, particularly on offense. They're built with a big diesel offensive line. We're built to get that yard. We're built to convert on these short 4th downs. Like, the Chiefs have not been that type of offensive juggernaut all year. To get cocky like that in that spot, I just thought it was foolish when you had 3 points laying right there to go up 2 scores on the road to really to guarantee yourself sending Lamar into halftime down. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to giving him a chance to potentially tie the game with a momentum, going into the second half. That didn't make no sense to me. Yeah. But anyway, so I know we know. Only thing I wanted to ask you, because you had mentioned the last thing for the Ravens Chiefs game, you had mentioned that you said that they should have used Lamar more.
For me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't like the way they used Lamar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
during the game, I texted and I said, it's almost like, and I swear I meant this before the Purdy game, but it's almost like, I'll use Josh Allen, but exactly also what Purdy did yesterday. Like, it's almost like Josh Allen, like when he runs, he has an intention. Like it's get yards and go down. Lamar is he doesn't run with that. He reminds me of a rookie running back, like that's still trying to hit that. No matter where the handoff is made or where I'm supposed to go, I'm always gonna try to go outside. I'm always gonna try to find a way to get 60 yards rather than just
he's always trying to score on every play, which is great. But sometimes you got to situationally know that's the first down marker. I'm a do what I gotta do, and that's that. You know what I mean? The first down marker or the pylon, whatever. That's my target. Not trying to take everything into a 60-yard tutty.
Think of how great that play would have been. I thought he was gonna break it when he caught the bounce.
Oh my god!
When he caught that bounce, for like a split second, it looked like everything opened up real quick. Because like the camera view or whatever.
Fast.
Yo. That
would
you only normally I thought he was gonna do. I gotta give who was it that made that? I think it was Snead that made that open field tackle on the 4th and 1. That it opened up and Lamar went right up the middle. Was that was Lamar? Yeah. And he, it was in the first quarter. And I was like, yo, to tackle Lamar open field like that when you're the last line of defense and like he got past the whole goal line, I was like, yo, man, like that could have changed the whole game. If Lamar takes off, I think they ended up scoring on that drive anyway. I think that ended up being that same drive where they had the
because it was the first two. I think it was the first 2 drives.
But that was I was like, yo, man, he doesn't make that open field tackle. Whew, that's a tough tackle to make too.
Yeah. and that was my biggest thing about like the Lamar, the way they used him. I just kind of felt like he has to have more of a intentional like
Yeah,
running like
yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. But the last to finish up on Lamar, I think what they ended up doing was the something similar to what they've done with Josh Allen, which ended up costing them the game last week, but kind of like a little bit different. Where it's like with Josh Allen, his strength, what they did with the game plan last week, and you can see like how they had more success anyway. So obviously stick with it. I think they tried to limit his best attribute, like with Josh Allen, just because he gets cocky with his arm and he gets a little bit reckless, where you saw all the passes that they were doing behind the line of scrimmage and close to the line of scrimmage. So they were doing that. They were like, yo, Josh, we're going to let you run because that's what you do, but we're going to have you, throw the ball less down the field because you have a propensity. Like when you do that, you end up sometimes getting a little bit too aggressive and costing us. I think what they did with the Lamar was like, yo, Lamar, if it opens up for you on a passing play, if there's nothing working in the passing play, go ahead and take off. But that's the last thing you're going to do. So they took that away from him, and then it ended up there was so much open room down like in the middle of the field, and he was still waiting to like he doesn't know when like he's been coached out like they coached the split-second decision to take off out of him, it seems like, because of like the narratives or whatever. But I feel like there were so many runs where usually he would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing open. Okay, I'm taking off. But this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, waiting to see what's happening, and then he ends up running to the outside, and then he just ends up having to throw it away or almost getting sacked, and luckily throwing the ball, and because he has a gun, so reaching the ball back to the line of scrimmage where to not get an intentional grounding goal. But I don't know. I just think they played themselves in the like in a big game. Lamar, you've been in big football games before. Like, do the football. He's a football player. Like, do the football thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like we get to the coaching decision and analytics. Like some of these dudes have, like Mahomes and all the greats have that the football play. Like they know what to do with the football. And I think that they kind of cautiously, like over cautiously, took that out of them for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so John Harbaugh on the hot seat, officially on the hot seat, and so is Lamar. And then moving on to another guy who I think should be on the hot seat, and Kyle Shanahan. But Shanahan and Dan the Man Campbell. What a game that was. I mean, if you're I don't personally know any Lions fans, but you got to be sick after that game, man. Because
you got to be sick to your
I remember it was funny because, you had Lions money line, and I'm sitting there staring at this bet. And as they continue to, put it on them in the first half, the cash out is just building up. And I'm like, should I just cash this out now, man, before anything crazy happens? And I was like, nah, we let it ride. We're trusting in the Lions. We're trusting that they're gonna finish this out. And to tell you the truth, I mean, up until halftime, it really throughout the entire first half, at no point did the 49ers really put up any resistance. Even that missed field goal, it just seemed like it was not happening for the 49ers. Like you felt like maybe if they kicked that field goal, they could get a little bit of positive vibes and something going in the right direction for them. But they ended up missing that field goal in the first half too, and I just felt like, it's over. The Lions are going to the Super Bowl. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, should we cash this out now? I was like, nah, we let it ride.
But to the contrary, that's why I was like, I saw how it was going, and there was no reason for me to think this, but I was like, there's no way the Niners go out like this. So that's when I sent you that parlay, and it was like for the Lions were up 17, and I put the 49ers to win and George Kittle to score a touchdown, and I think it was like it would still like it paid like $70 or less, and I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. So what I ended up doing one that like with a Jawan Jennings touchdown, because I figured if they, if the 49ers are coming back in this game, it's going to take somebody to show up that, maybe to this point hadn't shown up, and they're airing the ball out or whatever. But when I saw the numbers, it was like they were down 17. They were down 17, and it was still plus 234 for them to win the game. So they were down 17 points, and if you put 100, all you would have won was $235 to if they would have come back 18 points.
Yeah,
and that's kind of ridiculous.
The active spread at half was only 7.
Yeah,
the lines like usually the spread tends to mirror the spread of
16
the game.
and a half. Yeah,
like if you're up 17, they're usually going to give you something close to 17, whether it's 16 and a half, 14 and a half. When I saw at halftime that the live spread was still only the 49ers only getting 7, I was like, yeah. I thought it was good because I was like, hey, put something on the 49ers. Why not? To bet that they're going to at least come with it, at least make it a game in the second half at home. You figured they weren't going to just kind of completely lay down. But I was surprised too. I was surprised that those odds didn't move more. So like, I guess that just goes to show you that
what they know.
They just didn't really believe that even at with that lead at half, the odds makers didn't necessarily believe that the Lions were going to be able to close it out, and I guess they were right. But I wonder how much of that cap goes. I wonder how much of the Dan Campbell decision making goes into that cap, and then because Lions fans, not Lions fans, 49ers fans today, I've heard a few of them saying like, yeah, we thought it was over at the halftime, but at the same time, there was a little piece of us that knew that Dan Campbell's going to put us in a position to give us a chance.
Which I don't get, because it's like he's been the darling of the last couple, the last few weeks. And for a lot of the season as well, like the darling of like, this is what you want in the head coach. Like everybody plays for him. Like it means so much to him. Like he's aggressive, like, and all of the stuff that you want in a coach, but only when he's winning. And you see how it turned as soon as he lost the game with the same exact mentality that got him there, and everybody switched up on him so quickly to where it's like going back to my original point of like, there's only one winner. That's why people who all they do is criticize. They always get to criticize, because no matter what, they end up winning because only one person wins. And there's too many, like, for example, Brock Purdy, if Brock Purdy wins, like they're all rooted. Everybody is right now, everybody's rooting against Brock Purdy, but that's only because the Lions aren't in there. You know what I'm saying? Like now they're rooting against Brock Purdy. They would have been rooting against Patrick Mahomes had the Lions won. But now they're rooting against Brock Purdy because for some reason, like, they've decided they don't like Brock Purdy. And everybody wants to be like, you see, he isn't that good. But like, yo, he's in the Super Bowl already. What are you talking about? And I get it, because it doesn't look pretty when he's like playing. But it's like it's the gamer mentality. Like he ends up getting it done. Like, and I don't want to make it seem like he's like some juggernaut or whatever. But it's like, yo, why are you hating on this? Like this guy is like, he's not a hateable person, and everybody hates on him for some reason. That's why I'm like almost rooting for him. Yeah, man. Like everybody, like people, like really want Brock Purdy to lose.
I mean, I'm not a fan, but I don't hate on him.
Yeah, I don't hate him. I actually love the story, but I'll tell you one thing, because I
don't love the story. I'm good.
I do the Mr. Irrelevant or whatever.
I don't care for the story.
But I mean, I don't get it, but the thing is, it's like it's a Tom Brady like story. You know, so if you like the Tom Brady story, why wouldn't you like the, and I guess I mean I get it because of the longevity, and Tom Brady ended up proving that like he was that
You know why
dude.
I don't like
but like
the story? Because of what you just said. Because everybody makes it the Tom Brady story, and it's not the Tom Brady story.
but it's similar.
Yeah, no, it's not.
If
How
you
is it?
pan
What's
At this
similar
point-
about it? Just that he was a late draft pick and he's been playing well.
But at this point, yes, because Tom Brady wasn't a superstar until he became like he was Tom Brady.
If Tom Brady doesn't win a Super Bowl, there is no Tom Brady story.
No. My point is
No,
that he
but
wasn't
do you
the
agree
reason.
with that?
Well, yeah, of course. But the thing is,
Okay,
it's like
but if
Tom Brady.
if that's the case, if there's no Tom Brady story without the Super Bowl, then there's no Brock Purdy is the next Tom Brady story until the Super Bowl.
No. Yeah, I know, but we're not there yet.
Exactly. That's why I don't care for the story.
My point is, but my point is, it's like even if Tom Brady, that first Super Bowl that Tom Brady won, it wasn't Tom Brady who won he wasn't Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get it now. Like at the end, like because Tom Brady ended up doing his thing and becoming the GOAT, like you can kind of backtrack to that and add that to his aura, you know, that he won from the beginning pretty much. But the truth is looking at it in like the trajectory that it had at this point of that trajectory, it's a similar trajectory to the Tom Brady story. We're not saying that we're not saying like that he's on the trajectory to be Tom Brady or to have like to end up as one of the GOATs like Tom Brady. But my point is, it's like that's it, like if you put the red line and the blue line like on a chart, they're at a similar point right now. You know, it'll all switch up obviously based on what happens this in 2 weeks from yesterday. But you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's rooting against that to happen, it seems like.
See, I get the different vibe. I got like two friends that I call like a very like they're casual, like they see everything black and white, and you know they're very like they're casual fans, but they think they're a little more than casual. They think they're more than casual, but their mind, like I don't know how to explain it, but whatever. I think of them as casual fans because they say
because you know football and they say what everybody is saying or like
they
I
fans
feel
of
like
a team.
Yeah, they are, but they're like wishy-washy even with that. You know what I'm saying? Like
you
yeah,
can,
but my point is like these two people are like usually what I get. I feed my like what the world or what the casual fan thinks. and maybe a little whatever close-minded of me, but whatever is like, and I get the opposite, and that's literally what got me where I got me with Tua. Where it
the
was
opposite of how? So they're rooting for Purdy.
Yeah, they're like it's not even that they're rooting for him. It's like, oh, he's this great quarterback, and I'm like, I see where he can be. You know, if he grows, you know, I get it. But right now, I wouldn't consider him a great quarterback at all.
But
like,
I mean, yeah, but that gets the squad.
I consider him a good quarterback, and and he does what he does well.
But what you're saying, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that disqualifies what you said. What you said of them disqualifies them of that point because obviously it just they're seeing they like read like it's almost like the thing where they read tweets and like they read the headlines of tweets.
Yeah, it's like they read what the media is telling them to.
Exactly. So I mean that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I say.
Obviously,
fan.
Yeah. So it's like I could see like if that's who you come across, okay, that's one thing. But it's like I can't take this like he stinks or he's great. If you watch the game, you realize he's not great.
No, he's not great.
But he, you know what I'm saying? But he does just enough to get the job done. You saw like he showed some grit. He showed the Baker Mayfield grit he got like grit. He kept taking off. He got over 50 yards rushing. His over under was 8.5. He got 53, which that just kind of indicates like that's not what he does. But for this game, he had to win it, and that's what he did. Like he just
he bail out Kyle Shanahan. That's what he had.
The thing
Well,
about
yeah,
him,
I mean, because he knows he probably if you lose a game for Kyle Shanahan, you know you don't know what he might do to you. Like he'll set you up. You know what I'm saying? Like get you cut, ship you out of here. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta that puts a little bit extra battery in your back when you know that you've got the executioner out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta always make him look good. You know what I'm saying? Like because if you don't,
you know what I like about Purdy is like he's like the opposite of like he doesn't he's like he does all the intangibles like that the great like the really good quarterbacks do, but he doesn't fit any of the like physical criterias, right? Like he's cool. He's like the stages doesn't seem big for him, which is what a veteran quarterback is, right? He seems poised in the pocket. He listens to his coaching. He follows the script like usually what a vet like somebody that's been there does, right? But he doesn't have the super strong arm. He doesn't have the super athleticism. But even though he is pretty fast and he got a little wiggle to him, but he doesn't have all the intangibles that like he will make him a top quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? But he does all the other things extremely well. You know what I mean? And that's where it's kind of like tricky. It's almost like a puzzle. Like, is he that good? You know, is he good? You know, and then you also got to take into account the team surrounding him. You know, and I think the kid's future is bright. But that's why I kept going against him because I'm like, at some point, I think the better quarterback is gonna win. You know, I usually say that when I do my picks. Fucking give me the better quarterback. And I don't know if I'm alone here, but I feel like is he better? Is he a better quarterback than Goff?
That's what I was gonna say. He hasn't.
I don't think so.
He has had the good fortune of. Now, I think Jordan Love is good. I think he has a potential to be special, but right now, this year, he's not
better than.
He's not that much far and away better than Purdy. That you're gonna look at that as I'm gonna take the better quarterback matchup. I think maybe next year I'll look at it differently. But going into this year, he was still a little too brand new for me to be Jordan Love is that good that I'm he's that much of an elite quarterback.
Yeah. But that was just to defend myself. That was part of the play, like why I said that. You know what I'm saying? Like a little shock value. Like when they play, I said, "Give me the better quarterback." I thought that's what you insinuated.
No, I wasn't. I don't even remember you saying that. The only point I was making is that I was agreeing with your point that I don't think that he has had to, through this road to the playoffs, he has not had to face an upper echelon quarterback that you would be faced with that decision. Like that's kind of why I was like 49ers each time, because like I said in the last time, I was like, I don't have anything that I can hold on to. You know, if I can. Pure example, if I can look to the other side and be like, okay, they have a quarterback I can believe in and I can trust. They haven't faced that quarterback yet.
Yeah. Goff was the closest thing. I think Goff is a better quarterback than him. He's a proven.
But honestly,
I don't trust Goff.
Honestly, I don't.
Not saying to trust him, but
I don't see them two as very, very much different. Better. I know that the narrative around them is very different in terms of like what he's viewed at. But because I mean, think about it. Like Brock Purdy, Jared Goff is basically what Brock Purdy, performance-wise, has been in terms of like, there's a certain ceiling to what they're going to be able to do with the team. So I mean, like. In the beginning, obviously, Goff was a number 1 overall pick, so that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
So he's viewed differently just off the jump. But if you think about it, it's like, he played well enough. Jared Goff played well enough to play himself into a big contract. And they ended up seeing what the limitations at that number, like McVay saw what the limitations were. When you pay a quarterback that has this ceiling, that much money. But Brock Purdy has a similar ceiling, but he's getting paid less than like about $500,000 or $1 million. So what the difference in that is, because I think when they paid Goff, it was like 36 million, 37 million. It might have been a little bit more, whatever. But you're talking about a similar ceiling at $35 million more, which takes away from the team, which is why the 49ers are able to have the team that they currently have. So it's almost like the 49ers are a product of Brock Purdy as much as Brock Purdy is a product of the 49ers. So it's like I think some of the things is like the reason like there's a lot of Brock Purdy detractors. It's like, oh, look who he gets to play with. He has a great coach. The Rams tried to do the same thing, and Sean McVay did the right thing because obviously he got a Super Bowl. But he saw when you pay somebody who has a ceiling, who has a limited ceiling, and if you're paying him that amount and you're not able to put the team that's able to lift that quarterback up over the finish line. So it's like people hate on Brock Purdy because he has such a great team to play with, but the reason he has such a great team to play with is because he's been a decent enough player where they can make it work and without having to pay him that much money.
Yeah, but Goff did nothing wrong, bro. Goff played a hell of a game. He didn't lose because of him.
But see, I will say one thing with Goff and with Josh Allen. Like every single time there's something that goes wrong, like they make a million excuses for these two dudes, man. Like even with I know Josh Reynolds. You don't think Josh Reynolds should have caught that ball. I will say Josh Reynolds should have caught that ball, but there's no way that they should have made it the Josh Reynolds. Like that was an easy catch for Josh Reynolds to make when he's running in one direction, diving to the other direction towards the ground. And just because it hits his hands, it's not Jared Goff's fault for making that throw.
I disagree.
The other throw, yes, but he also made a throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nobody's blaming Amon-Ra St. Brown because he catches almost everything. But I'm saying it's like at some point it's like, yo, similar to the I forget what the pass was 2 weeks ago. I mentioned it where it bounced off the receiver's hands. I think it was Josh Allen, but Josh Allen threw it a million miles an hour. Sometimes it's on the quarterback, even though I know these wide receivers get paid money.
I don't agree. I thought that was a great placement of the ball. I thought he put the ball right where he needed to be. I thought
but his momentum was going one way, and he had to turn and then down.
But it didn't even hit his hands. It hit his chest.
No, that was the second one, because there was two. There was two Josh Reynolds ones.
Yeah, the first one, the fourth. And
the first one when he was diving towards the ground. That's the one I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this one. Didn't hit him on the chest.
But okay, but all right. So, but even then, like, okay, he threw it to him, and then the the Williamson pass, the flea flicker, that was a dime, hit him, Jalen right in the hands. That's. Like I don't think you could put any blame on Goff. Honestly, I think he's the last one you got to criticize on that.
But even look with the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble, right? Yeah. They were saying, "Oh, he went the wrong way." He went the wrong way. You can see.
How do we know?
First of all, Goff didn't turn in that direction. It wasn't a mix-up on there. Like he might have gone into the wrong place, but it's because Eric Armstead was standing right there. If Jahmyr Gibbs. If Jared Goff goes to the right with that handoff, Eric Armstead could have taken that the handoff and taken it to the house. It ended up being a fumble, because of I guess the timing was off and it might have been in the wrong direction. But it wasn't because it was Jahmyr Gibbs' fault. It was because there was two 49ers literally waiting on the other side on Jared Goff's backside that would have obliterated it and still would have taken it.
Who do you put the blame on that though? Goff?
No, but my point is, it's like you don't have to put the blame on anybody in a certain case like that.
Yeah, but chances are, if the play is a handoff and you fumble, chances are they're gonna blame after you already got the ball, even though we had the ball in your possession. They're gonna blame you.
But my point is that they're saying Jahmyr Gibbs went the wrong way without taking into account
That's
what was
just-
there, without knowing if he actually went the wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point. It's like they go too quickly to try to like absolve blame from some of these quarterbacks when they're so quick to pile blame onto other quarterbacks when they make similar mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm just saying like it doesn't have to be anybody's fault. The team lost. It was on Dan Campbell. Yeah. It was on Ben Johnson. It was on Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was on Jahmyr Gibbs. It was on Josh Reynolds. It was on everybody. That's a team. It's a team loss. They were also doing similar to what the Ravens were doing. They were trying to get a little bit extra in all the time as well, and you know what I'm saying. That's part of it. So it's like sometimes the team just loses. You don't have to make an excuse for who lost, why they lost. Yo, the team just lost. You know what I'm saying? You can break down individual plays.
In search for an explanation, you're gonna blame somebody. In search for a reason, you're gonna unintentionally blame somebody. I'm just saying, I don't think you could put anything on Goff. I think Goff played well enough to win. He put his receivers in good position to catch the ball, and in 2 occasions or 3 occasions where I thought the game was on the line and mattered, and he had ice in his veins and he delivered the ball. It just didn't get it. They weren't able to bring it in, and the Dan Campbell thing. I think you had a strong take on the Dan Campbell, and I definitely want to hear that. But I just think it's kind of similar to what you were saying with the Chiefs. It's being aware that you're a road dog, and you at some point you got to take the points, and maybe the first 4th and 2, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Everybody was already like texting me like, oh my God, why did he do? I'm like, bro, if you didn't watch the Cowboy game, and I always get mad at my niggas because I always be like, yo, you don't watch the pod, because everybody in the pod has at one point say Campbell's gonna do the stupid thing. Like, I think we all said it at some point. And I'm like, y'all don't. And my man's hitting me up, one of the casual dudes, hitting me up like, what the fuck is he thinking? I'm like, I want to say, don't text me about football. Text me about everything else. Because this is not the first time this has happened. This has happened because, did you see the Cowboy game? If you want to pull your hair out at any moment, to me that's when I learned, oh, this motherfucker he wants dick pics. He wants to send dick pics out to everybody and say whose dick is big. And that's
once he was like, oh, I'm still going for the 2-point after the penalty. We're gonna go for it from the 20.
Yeah, that was
like,
it.
Oh, this motherfucker's wild.
Like, and then
he's trying to prove a point, and the point is not about football.
Yeah, it's not.
But see, that one, he was exonerated because of the call that he didn't get. You know what I'm saying? And technically, he would have had it. So it's like they almost attribute to it worked in that instance,
bro.
When it didn't.
Did you hear him after the game? Oh, yeah, everyone's gonna say I'm wrong because I did because it didn't work out. No, nigga. Like, but even then, I'm not like that. Didn't surprise me because I literally pulled my hair out. I'm not even a fucking. Well, I hate the Cowboys, so I guess. But I literally pulled my hair out watching that Lions fucking game, the Lions and Cowboys game. Like, what the fuck? So when he answered that, I'm like, no, that's not a surprise. This guy has other like reasons. Like, he wants to show his ex-wife like he's a fucking man or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, we already know you a man. Smacked me because the spaghetti was salty, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for real though, like the fact that everybody's conversation today is about Dan Campbell and I can't believe he did this. Like, I'm like, yo. To me, that's
if you can't believe it's because you didn't watch.
None of that's surprising at all. Like, to me, that's not even worth really too much of a debate because you knew that was what he was gonna do. Like, if you didn't know that was what he was gonna do, then you haven't been watching. You haven't been paying attention.
Haven't been watching. Exactly.
Like, I knew going in. Like, that's why I was surprised at the end of the second half when he went for the field goal instead of going for it on 4th up 3 touchdowns, because I was like, yo, why now you're gonna kick field goals? Like, you might as well run it up.
I took it the opposite. I swear to God, I took it the opposite way. I said, he's not gonna go for a field goal again. If he's going for the field goal now, it's over. Like it's like it's like for every field goal, I need to go for it every third, every three.
I didn't get the
you
one
have
where
better
they were.
foresight than me, because I was watching that shit and I'm thinking because they were debating it for like Olsen and Burkhardt were like, oh, we know he goes for it, the offense is still out on the field, and they had the camera on,
and then he did that.
All of a sudden he's like, field goal.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what the hell? Why is he going for the field goal now? And then I was thinking, like, okay, maybe he's taking a different approach because of the magnitude of the game. And then he did the opposite. Then when the game starts getting tight, now you're not taking points. I'm like, yo,
in the third, that was the one I really had more of an issue with. And I'm pretty sure it was in the third quarter when he went for it. And it would have been a 48-yard field goal, but you could have gone up 17. Like, granted, I know you had to make it, whatever. That's another point for another day. Yeah. But I mean, going up 17, I told my son, I was like, yo, what the fuck is he doing? Because this was after the other one. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Just go up 17. Like, you're making it a 3-point possession.
I know the moment, bro. You got to stop the bleeding. Like, your team is bleeding out right here in the second half on the field. You got to know the moment. I understand this is how we play. This is that. Bro, your team is, you could look, I don't even need to be there. I could look at you could look on TV. You saw the sidelines. Like, they were starting to get tight. They were starting to get flustered. The lines were like, yo, this is slipping away. They were starting to get nervous. Like, yo, you needed to stop the bleeding. It was like the same way, like in basketball, when a team is going on a 15-point run and the coach don't call a timeout. Like, yo, you gotta stop the bleed. You gotta stop the momentum whatever way you can.
Yeah. But because even if like you don't feel confident about your field goal kicker, yo, then punt the ball. Yeah, like if you're, I mean, obviously it goes totally against what he's thinking, but if you're on the because I think at that point they were on the 30-something yard line, pooch punt it, man. You're still up. Flip the field. If you're able to flip the field, you can turn the points aren't the only way to turn the momentum on a game. Mm-hmm. If you punt the ball and you down it inside the 5, that's an opportunistic defense. Like, I'm not gonna. This is just something like I'm coming up with, like, while we're talking, like, because what you're seeing, if that's the mindset that you have, like, okay, if I kick the field goal, if I try to kick the field goal and I miss, then they're going to have the ball with a chance to score, whatever. Mm-hmm. So if that's crept into your mindset, and what your issue is like, I want to put my defense in a good position, don't go for it. Kick. We're not talking about some fucking rinky-dink defense. We're talking about the 49ers. Granted, I know they didn't play that well yesterday, but there's still names. That defensive line has Chase Young, number 2 overall pick, Joey Bosa, number 2 overall pick, Eric Armstead, I think he was a number 5. He might have been the 5th overall pick. You have Javon Hargrave. He's making over $20 million a year. Like, dog, you have the most expensive line. You have the two of the best top 5 linebackers in the league back there. You know what I'm saying? Like running it in that situation, or whatever whatever play call you come up with. If like your fear is giving the 49ers the ball back because you missed the field goal, you'll punt it. Reset. Put your defense in a opportunistic, if it gets down within the 5-yard line, you get Aiden Hutchinson to pin his ears back. You have James Houston or whatever. You have Ali McNeil. You have a decent line, and you have an opportunistic defense in the backfield. They're not good, but they could certainly pick it off and bring it back to the house. Or, if you're in a situation like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it doesn't have to be like go for 100 or go for 0. Like,
Yeah.
you have to like you said, it's like you have to have a feel for the game. Every game is different.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, the analytics say go for this, like, because that's stupid as well. Like, and I'm not saying like Dan Campbell was using that, but like analytics people do the same thing. It's like, oh, the probability of them going, yeah, the probability of them, yeah, but you're taking into account good defenses versus bad defense, good defenses versus bad offenses, good offenses versus good defenses, but you're not taking into account the actual what's going on the field. So that's kind of like, like analytics is fine, but you have to have in-game analytics, like the way what's going on right now, like what's happening, like they don't take into account momentum, but that's because momentum isn't a thing, like it's not tangible. But the thing is, it's like, yes, it is tangible, because I told my son, it was crazy because we came down and we played we were playing PlayStation before the AFC Championship, and we were playing the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs and the Ravens. And at some point, like, I started winning, and the field was doing the thing where like you get the momentum and it starts moving like that. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I told my son, I was like, yo, because in the beginning I was like, yo, this is crazy. It sounds like it's a Lions home game, right? That was early. Yeah. And then, like, when the 49ers scored that touchdown to start the comeback, I was like, yo, this is where the field starts going like this in Madden. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what started happening. So it's a thing. It's not just because you can't quantify it doesn't mean it's not a thing. And I mean, it's pointless saying it, but like that's what ended up happening, like. Momentum, you're at
momentum
home.
Switch. I haven't seen it go from there to here so fast. That momentum.
Right. Oh, so you peeped it too.
I'm hoping though. I'm assuming the whole world's seen the shit. Once Son caught it off the face mask of the safety and all that, I was like, oh shit. And I had bread. I had bread on the fucking Lions to flat out win, man. I thought it was gonna happen.
No, I thought it was gold. I thought it was over.
Were you happy for me for a minute there?
Of course. Why wouldn't I be?
Because
I was happy for you. I was tempted to hit you up like, yo, should we cash this out? But I knew you were gonna say no, so that's why I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
But the cash out was probably so close though to the amount.
It wasn't close enough.
It wasn't.
It was because it was. I think it was mirroring whatever algorithm they used was the same algorithm they used to decide what the halftime spread was. Yeah. You're right. The cash out, I think it. Whatever it was
like 20 half.
That was why it wasn't even worth asking. If it was, if it was close enough, I would have been like, yo, should we pull out? But I was like, we got to ride this out. But, like you said, you could just feel, like, you could feel the momentum changing. And, like, but that's the thing is that, like, the good coaches are able to kind of, find a way, whether it's, like, I even give credit to this dude, what's his name? The Vikings guy. When I saw him, O'Donnell, whatever the fuck his name is.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I remember when I saw him. When I saw him telling T.J. Hawkinson to fake the injury to get down. First of all, I don't know how the hell they don't fine you for that. Like, at what point are we going to start to crack down on these fake, injury timeouts? But that's a whole nother story. But when I seen that he was I used to, that sometimes the players are doing it amongst themselves because they're getting gassed or whatever. And I assume that there's coach involvement in certain situations, but my man to get caught on camera, on the field, on Fox, or whatever the hell the thing was, and he's saying, get down, go down. Now, I was like, yo, like, while that shit is illegal, I give him credit because he understood we need a pause. My team needs something from me right now. I'm going to get it however I got to get it. You You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I
and
respect a coach that has the pulse of the
Feel.
game and has the pulse of his team and knows when you need a timeout, when you need a break, when you need a pause, when you need to run, when you need to be aggressive, when you need to pull back, when you need to take the points, when you need, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to have a feel for these things.
But CH, that's part of the problem too with people criticizing. It's like sometimes these coaches, it's like, damn, if it's, you know, like for example, like say the Dan Campbell does the timeout thing because of the momentum or whatever.
We haven't even gotten into that fucking running play. That was where they cost the game, and no one's talking about that. That was because you just reminded me when Dan Campbell took the timeout. How the hell do you run a running play at that point in the game on the goal line that's gonna make you use a timeout if you don't get it? And if you use a timeout, the game is over. You're not gonna get the fucking onside kick.
Yo, but
it's infuriating.
There's many things that I remember about it that no one's talking about that I'm like,
people talking
because
about
it's crazy
going for it on the fourth down and all that. To me, going for the running play in that spot when you know you these timeouts are gold, you cannot use them. That to me, that was the most bonehead blunder of the game.
I got one for you.
That's the one I was talking about, where it's like all these people, like it's almost like what you said, Cheeks, about the casuals. It's like everybody wants to talk about all this other shit because it's like they don't, you know, like they don't pay attention. Like people are stupid. Like and I get it, because that's why sports talk radio works, because most of the people listening are stupid. They don't form their own opinions. They listen for opinions. They spit what they're saying. But like for example, that was the most important play. If you're down 10, what the fuck does the touchdown do for you at that point? If you're wasting that much time and you still need the fucking field goal, and the field goal that you weren't comfortable the field goal attempt that you weren't comfortable taking, when you could have gone up 17.
Yeah, you passed.
If you're in
9 points at different points in the game.
Yeah. So if you're in, so you're literally in what I would assume the closest possible point that you would have been comfortable with getting a field goal, right? Or taking or like attempting a field goal. You're at the point you still need 10 points. Mm-hmm. You could have taken that field goal and even, you know what I'm saying, kick it at second down. Kick it on first down. Because you know what? You're still going to need the fucking field goal. Yeah. And if you kick the field goal and you if you still have your 3 timeouts, you kick the field goal and you still have 3 minutes left on the clock, you know what? You have 3 minutes to stop them. And chances are, because first of all, you're kicking it down. They're starting off at the 25. You're not doing a fucking a 1 in 20 or 1 in 25 chance of recovering a field goal, and even kickoff. And even if you do, you're almost in kickoff. You're almost in field goal range for the other team. So you still have to go downfield. So if you kick the field goal, you're saving all the time. You're saving your timeouts, and you're giving your defense enough time to where, okay, if they get a first down, you still have enough timeouts to where if they get the first down, you can still stop them on the second set of first down, because you have the timeouts, you have the 2-minute warning, and you have them pinned down. So maybe they have to throw and maybe they have to stop the clock. And if you have a good punt return, they punt it, you get close enough. And when it comes to
Jones, baby.
No, yeah, and when it
but the thing is, I thought about you when they showed him
when it comes to passes and Hail Marys, there's no science. There's no Hail Marys, if you have to line up for a 65-yard field goal kick, you're done. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you need for to win the game, if you're at the 50-yard line, 45-yard line, you're done. You're not getting that field goal. So if you can get a field goal, you can put that in the bank and then play your chances. If you have 12 seconds on the clock, it could be first down. If you have 2 or 3 chances to throw a touchdown, and the ball bounces all different types of ways. Yeah. I don't get it. The people try to.
Yeah, he somehow thought he would rather be down 3 with no timeouts than be down 7 with all his timeouts.
Yeah.
And that to me, then you don't know what you're doing.
But with the 49ers in field goal range, by the way, as well. So even if a miracle happens and you stop them all 3 times and it's 4th down, they still kick a field goal and they put you back at the 25-yard line and you have 2 seconds for a 75-yard play.
I'll tell you one thing though. You wanna get criticized for fucking as a coach, go for a field goal right there and miss it.
Yeah, but you already did enough shit. But you already did enough shit where it's like you already did enough stuff where it's like you should realize you're gonna get criticized for it because of how the game.
I think the field goal kicker's getting killed. I don't think.
That's what I'm saying.
Where they were at,
Campbell okaying it would be killed too. I think.
Yeah, no. But he probably says, we get the field goal there. I give my defense enough time to come up with a stops. We still had our all our timeouts.
Yeah.
We feel like we had all our time on the clock. And if we get a stop and they punt the ball, we have all 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, and we get the ball back in a favorable position.
You know what they're gonna say though? They're gonna say, you didn't give him a fucking kick all night, and then you gonna put him out there. You're gonna trot him out there, fucking cold as fuck at the end of the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
you're lucky the kicker doesn't go up to you and stab you in the neck for asking.
That's the other thing, yo. There is.
But I'm saying,
this doesn't come out in analytics, but there is something to having the kicker feel involved in the game when it comes down to it. Like, I don't care what percentage it is. Mm-hmm. If you're telling me at the end of the game I'm going to have to kick a field goal to win it or to tie it and send it into overtime, do you want to have the kicker that's been sitting on the sideline the whole game that he hasn't even trotted out there for a field goal at all? Or you want a kicker that he's kicked a couple field goals throughout the game?
But that's what I'm saying. If you get down to where it's almost extra point range, you've already scored 4 touchdowns. So if you give him a field goal attempt in that range, he's not feeling overwhelmed because, okay, I've already done this.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you give him even if you they ended up scoring the touchdown. But if the field goal ends up being a 64-yard or 67-yard field goal attempt, you have no shot in hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I tell you one thing. At one point, I'm not even lying to you. I recall thinking this, and I
see what you did there.
I almost wanted to take notes last night, but I swear I said that kicker must hate him. Like that thought came in my head. Like but as a kicker, you must hate him too. Though you must be like, yo, fuck, am I doing here? I'm not appreciated. Fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah, but I think with Dan Campbell, I think it goes. I don't even think he has to say anything about the kicker to understand that his ass probably hates kickers to begin with.
He hated kickers as a
former player
from that era too.
Up against 6'7", banging.
You're not an athlete kicker.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, he had the bar down the middle of his face mask. You know what I'm saying? So like. He hates kickers off the rip. So
they weren't athletes in when he was playing. They were like,
yeah. But I was telling my son, I was like, yo, Justin Tucker, because I keep forgetting to look up how he ended up on the Ravens or whatever. But Justin Tucker, he carved out a nice little niche for himself, man. Like being one of the great kickers, going in there, he's getting paid a shitload of money, You know what I'm saying? It's like
singing
that's a cushy
opera.
job. Oh, is he really singing opera?
He's a professional opera singer. You didn't know that?
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
You serious?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he's a professional opera singer.
That's fire. So kicking is his side gig.
Oh, so he goes from kicking
is his side hustle. He's been a professional opera singer for years.
So he goes from kicking field goals to singing Figaro's.
Yeah. You can't write that up. That's crazy.
That's it. Game over.
You can't.
Game over.
Write
That's it.
that
Everything
up.
else has to be saved for next week. We can't continue on after that. That's the recap. That's the AFC NFC Championship recap. We got the Pro Bowl games to look forward to on Sunday. I'm hyped. We're gonna have the.
I'm going.
Whatever the hell. Oh, you going?
Where?
You there?
Yeah, me and my boy was out there.
That's what's up. They're gonna have the dunk contest style catch contest, the flag football game. Oh man, fired up for this. But we'll be back on Thursday to get into a little bit of more discussion, a little bit more of a. I guess we'll start next. We'll start on Thursday to look towards the
some leanings.
look towards the matchup and start to kind of map out how we see this Chiefs 49ers game going. But until then, win those bets, stay in the black.
Yes, sir.
Stream is